From the Fox 10 Gulf Stream, this is Next Weather.
Well, we have very little rain in the forecast, and some folks will be turning on their sprinklers, depending on if you believe in doing such a thing. Meteorologist Michael White has a look at how long you water. It's really important, and that is important depending on what type of sprinkler you actually have. Michael?
Hey, Jason, good to be with you. We felt the heat and humidity today, that is for sure. And I know you've mentioned that it's going to be cranking up over the next few days. I'm sure all of you on the Gulf Coast are going to be noticing that. But you're probably noticing that our grass is getting a little bit parched. We could use some rain. And as far as looking ahead, I'm wondering if there's any showers out there to be had. Well, we'll look ahead to the next 7 days. This is the projected average between now and Wednesday evening. And you can see down on the Gulf Coast, the projected rainfall total is basically zero. The rainfall total's way heavier around parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, North Louisiana. But you get towards us, you get toward almost the entire state of Florida, almost all of Georgia. There really isn't going to be much rain. Heat ridge going to be blocking big rain shower opportunities from arriving on the Gulf Coast. So that means we got to run the sprinklers. So yeah, that's going to send the water bills sky high. We've had that before. We had it last summer. So in case you're unfamiliar with exactly how long you need to be watering your lawns, you need to be doing this about 3 times per week. And depending on what kind of sprinkler you have, you can have a fixed spray head, a rotor head, a rotary nozzle, or just a manual sprinkler that you just set down in the lawn. And you can see the projected times that you need to make sure you water. We're basically in May at this point. I know we're not technically in May, but just go off the May guidelines. So if you have a fixed spray head, you need to run each zone for 12 minutes, 3 days a week. If you have a rotor head, you got to run it 24 minutes, 3 days a week. If you have a rotary nozzle, 30 minutes for 30 minutes 3 times a week. And then if you're running a manual sprinkler, 18 times, 3 times a week. And then notice that the times increase as we head in toward June, July, and August as we start seeing the heat of the summer really begin to build. So you want to make sure that you water, but you also don't want to over water. You don't want that. You want to make sure you're watering just the right amount. So that's an important guideline that you're doing it 3 days a week, but depending on what kind of sprinkler you have. And if you have an in-ground sprinkler system, check all the heads, make sure they're all functioning properly. Sometimes they need a little nudge, or they get stuck or clogged, and you need to make sure you're checking on those on a regular basis. And now that we're into the summer season, almost into the summer season, watering is going to become basically a part of everyday life here on the Gulf Coast, as most of you know. Well, I'm going to be off tomorrow. Nicholas Herboso is going to fill in for me tomorrow on Good Day Gulf Coast. I'll be back on the air on Monday. Jason's going to talk a lot more about the heat and humidity coming up at 9 o'clock right here on Fox 10. Have a good one.
All right, here's what we're seeing. As we mentioned, the weather will be quiet in the coming days. What about the overall weather pattern with this drier spell that we're seeing? Let's check in with meteorologist Nicholas Herboso.
The sun has been shining on the Gulf Coast, and it looks like this pattern will generally be sticking around for the near future. But what is the driving force in this kind of pattern? What causes sunny weather? First, let's get an understanding of basic weather systems. We have low and high pressure. These systems actually have a spin to them, and you might be familiar with this. In the northern hemisphere, a low pressure system, also called a cyclone, spins counterclockwise. And high pressure, which is the anticyclone, spins clockwise. But there is also a vertical component to these systems, which really explains what's going on. You see a surface map with the red low and blue high pressure systems. Looking at the low pressure system, air converges or comes together near the surface, spinning counterclockwise. Then this air rises. This rising motion is what promotes the development of clouds and even rain. Think of a building cloud on a summer day. The motion of the cloud is up. Clouds and rain are associated with this rising motion, like in a low pressure system. Contrast that with a high pressure system. We have surface divergence. The air aloft is sinking, then spreading out. The sinking air helps prevent the development of significant clouds, leading to fair weather or sunny conditions. So high pressure is the answer for sunny skies. And if you were to look at an old barometer, you would see how high pressure on the right side of the dial is associated with fair weather. Air pressure can give an easy assessment to what the current weather is. So thank that area of high pressure for bringing us these sunny skies. I'm meteorologist Nicholas Serboso.
And in our 7-day, the wind is going to be cranking up with that high pressure area to the east, and that means windy conditions and rough conditions with rip current risk very high Saturday, Sunday. Then we see isolated showers by Tuesday and Wednesday. Thanks for joining us for our weather special. Next weather here on Fox 10.